For those of you who are wondering, yes, this is big time nerd porn. What's cracking, people? Angelic Mayhem here. So I wanted to do a little video. This is a first impressions video of a brand new game that just came out on Steam called Catan. And this is based very loosely on the original game Settlers of Catan, which is an insanely popular board game that has been made into video games on occasion. And now this is a new one. It's a little different though. How best to describe it? Basically, imagine if you took the game Catan and began adding things to it willy-nilly to try to make it better, okay? That's what this game sort of does. Now, additionally, let's talk about, things like, for instance, the options menu, okay? It has these little things in here that kind of bug me a little bit. For instance, let's say full screen mode, okay? Now, I've turned it off. When this is on, you cannot change your display resolution. It's just set to whatever it is, and it's most certainly not 1280 by 768. Now that's the default actually, is that it's in full screen mode when you first start the game. When you turn it off of full screen mode and change this up, it doesn't actually change it to the appropriate resolution, okay? So that's why the video that you're looking at now is a little wonky, and I apologize for that, but there's nothing I can do. I turned off all the sound and all the other stuff. Basically, the only thing that you're going to have to worry about really is that when you're playing the game, you are playing against other people, like computer people. So the NPCs will come on and jibber jabber about, like their little quest thing that they're talking about and stuff like that. So that's the only thing that you're going to be missing out in terms of this playthrough. But I do want to take you through at least a game. I can't actually launch the editor because I tried twice and it crashed both times. Online scenarios, I assume that's after you get done with the editor. You can throw the scenario online, and then you would be able to play everybody else's. Down here is the help menu, and this gets into all the rules of Catan, and then all the stuff that they add in this game. Okay, so if you have any questions about anything, they actually do a fairly good job. Not so much in explaining the root game, and actually if you've never played Settlers of Catan, I would encourage you to hunt down any nerd on the earth and play it with them, because we all have a copy. And this game is more along the lines of you've been playing Catan for years and you want more, you know what I mean? Something bigger and better. So that's what this game's all about. But again, the rules are all here, and then you can read them and get an understanding of what the game's all about. Statistics talks about now this dice thing is actually broken. I don't know why it is like this, but it has stayed like this, and I played a bunch of games already. Statistics, this gets into pretty much the nitty gritty in terms of how many games you've played, how long you've been playing. As you can see, I've been playing for 4 hours. And then it starts getting into averages, which is a little weird. You can see I'm a road guy, so in case you're ever playing against me, that's how you beat me. Let's go back. Credits, options are all the usual stuff. So let's get into it. Campaign. Cities and Nights is an expansion pack that I have never been able to get into. I do not enjoy, so we're not going to talk about it at all. I'm going to stick with Seafair. Continue, yes. So here, basically, you get into a story, all right? So the idea is that you are arriving on this mystical island, and there are already people there, and they want to test you, let's say, to see if you're worthy to be on the island. So then they play against you in the game of Catan, all right? That's the general gist of what's going on here. Now, what's weird about this is that at the beginning, you're asked to actually pick a character, and you can pick one of these characters. So theoretically, you could actually be playing against yourself. This guy is actually like a grumpy guy who doesn't really like you so much, and you can actually be him and play against him, which is very weird. So like they don't swap out or anything like that. All right, so let's get through all this. This is my character, by the way. So this is what I look like, and I'm actually playing against me. This guy just shows up out of nowhere, and we're getting into a game. Yes, start scenario. Victory points is 14. For those of you who play Catan, you know that normally it ends at 10. That is not the case here. The very first game that you play in the scenario mode, the very first scenario, is the regular root Catan, which is just this board, okay? This other stuff are the things that begin to get added along the way. So in addition to playing, the root Catan, I also now have to build boats over to these other islands. Some of these hexes have gold, which is weird because instead of, like obviously gold isn't one of these, so you actually would get gold and then buy, some of this with it. It's a 1-for-1 exchange. So you get one for every 1 gold that you get, you can turn it into 1 card of one of these. So anyway, it starts off basically the same, except the board is always the same. It's never randomized. So you are in fact playing a scenario in the truest form of the word, in that they have created this scenario and you have to beat it. So, you're deciding based on this layout, which is the best location for you. All right, so now I'm going to throw something down here. We'll do a road. Right. Now, for those of you who have never played Catan, basically the idea is to plop down cities into the intersections of multiple hexes. By doing so, whenever you roll the dice, and let's say in this case I get an 8, all right, I have a city here. So if anybody rolls an 8, I get, in this case, 1 tree, and it would go down here into my tree pile. If I had, let's say a city right here, I would get 1 brick every time somebody rolled a 9, etc., etc., etc. So the idea is each one of us would roll, and in turn we would gather a bunch of resources. Then you can spend those resources on more cities, roads, etc. So that's the basic gist of the game. It's not very complicated. Beyond that, I mean, it gets into, when you talk about strategy, it can get pretty complicated. But for the most part, it's very simple. So let's see here. I definitely want to head over to these islands, so I'm going to start off, I think, here, and then work my way, right road, over to here. The animations in this game, they're a little slow for my taste, especially with dice rolling and things like that. A lot of this could be a lot faster. And in what you're looking at here, I actually set in the options menu to be the fastest that it could be. So imagine this 10 times slower. That's like medium. You know what I mean? So I don't know what they were thinking, but like fast should be no animation. You know what I mean? Like fastest should be no animation. So these games take about 27 to say 45 minutes, depending upon how lucky you get with the dice rolls. For those of you who enjoy Catan, I would suggest that this is definitely a good upgrade if you're looking for something more and you're looking for the scenario type events. But if you're looking for straight up Catan, this is probably not the game for you. I've definitely found better out there in the world. And, like I said, like the animations and things like that, it's the little things that kind of drive me nuts. I own another video game, Catan, and, like that game is just, it's better. All right, so let me take you through the interface. Down here, these are all the tiles that you pick up along the way. This one is the total of all of these, just in case, you can't count. This is the number of cards that you pick up. This is the number of armies that you've moved around the board. These are the number of roads that you own that are connected together. This is obviously you, so you can see I am literally playing myself. This is your current score. We have to get to 14 in this particular game. Name is obvious. This actually just kind of flips the board to a more traditional look, just in case you don't like this 3D style. I don't mind this, actually. I think this is actually pretty cool. This is where you roll the dice. This is for your options menu. This is for trading. If you decide, you want to get rid of some of these and you want to offer them to somebody else. Let's say I want to offer a sheep. You're giving the sheep. And then you want, let's say, 3 stone. Then you hit this button and you see if anybody's willing to take that offer. No. So then we go. Now, for those of you who know about the ports, the port system is here. You click on the little chest. And then in this, for instance, I have a city at the port that does trees, so I can actually exchange wood at a cheaper rate, which is why this one's 2 for 1 and the others are 4 for 1. And then finally, this is the menu to actually build things. And this menu can get really complicated depending upon which game you're playing and how far into it you are. There can be all kinds of stuff. And another big chief problem that I have with this game is that if you roll over any of these, it doesn't say city, it doesn't say road, it doesn't say capital or whatever. It doesn't say boat. It doesn't say what you use them for. When you click on this, it just says you don't have sufficient resources. It's really, they did a bad job in terms of user interface of explaining, like what it is that you're actually doing in this game. So all these things are, kind of like counting against it. But then at the end of the day, it is a Catan game, so it's fun. It is. It really is fun. And the scenarios are good. The storyline is, these people are jealous of the fact that you're there. And it's sort of along the lines of there's a limited amount of resources on this tiny island, and suddenly you're moving in, so they're all upset. So they want you to go. And so they're playing against you to try and get you to go away, is the theory of the game. I don't know. It's all right. It's fine. Roll a dice 5. I'm good here, so we're going to continue. Anytime you roll a 7, for those of you who've never played the game, anytime you roll a 7, you get to move what is the robber. Now, also in this game, there is a pirate. So the pirate acts like the robber, except he does so on C-squares, so he can shut down your port. The robber can shut down any one of these hexes. So anytime that you have a robber on your hex, let's say there was a robber on this 8, if we rolled an 8, nothing would happen. I wouldn't gain any cards or anything from that. So the robber is a very strategic piece that you have to place in certain places to thwart your enemies. Also, when you place him, you get to steal somebody's card. It's randomly chosen out of the X number of cards that they have. You just pick one randomly. So you don't really know exactly what you're getting. What's funny is, these guys all try to, as you're playing the game, let's say I move the robber to 6, and then I steal from Vincent because his red building is here, so I can steal from him. By doing so, Vincent will try and trash talk me, but there's only 3 trash talks. So, and most of them are about, oh, that card wasn't the one to pick, as if I had, chosen it, as opposed to it being randomly given to me. So, I don't know. It's very weird. It's kind of hit or miss, But, again, it's a Catan game, so you gotta love it. So, 3, and I can't do anything, so we're moving along. For those of you who are wondering, yes, this is big time nerd porn. This is all about, statistics, and the little dots underneath the numbers correspond to what the odds are that you'll roll a 6 or an 8 or a 9 or whatever. So, for instance, 6s and 8s, because you roll those most often other than a 7, but 7 only controls the robber. There is no 7 tile. 6s and 8s are the most popular. Next in line would be, 9 and 5, etc., etc., etc. 6. I have all kinds of sheep. I have to do something about that. If you have more than 7 and somebody rolls the robber, you automatically have to get rid of a bunch of your cards. So you do not want to do that. You want to try and limit the number of... no, I don't want to do that either. I'll do this. You want to try and limit the number of cards that you have so that if you happen to pick up more than 7 while you're playing, you don't have to ditch anything. That's it. It's all about trading these resources and trying to build bigger, better things, hoping that you can, do something with those things as you go along. I do need a tree at some point. I'm really banking on this 8, but it's not going to happen for me. The tricky thing about Catan is that, yes, there is a lot of strategy attached to it, but at the same time, it's also about luck. So I've played this scenario 4 times now, and each time, by sheer luck, I've lost 14-13 to one of these people. And, that's kind of tough because, in a game that's about strategy / luck, sometimes luck just really kind of craps on you. And, that's tough. That's tough. I hate this board now because I've been playing it for so long. I'm like, please let me go someplace else. I'm trying to see here. All right, so we have a 9. I did not pick up any stone because I'm not attached to the 9. I do have to get there at some point. And I definitely need a city. So I'm going to see if I can trade up. Is anybody willing to do this? No. Let's try this one. Anybody willing to do that? No. Even for 2 sheep? Not. They're pretty fair in terms of trading. I haven't seen anything that's, pretty crazy, and they'll rag on you if you don't trade with them, and they get, you know, pissy if you screw them over, or if you force them to give you too many cards. You know, they start to get grumpy. So at least in that regard, it seems like the AI has done a very good job. They've done a good job of programming the AI on that. You know what? I'm alright with that move. Let's do that. You know what? I'm alright with that move too. If I can get 2 wheat, then I can upgrade one of these to become a castle. Move the robber. Ah, that's exciting. You know, what are you gonna... I don't understand the strategy yet behind the pirate, so I just keep doing the robber. And I don't want him anywhere near me, so let's do this. And I get to steal something, and I stole wheat, which is exciting. Well, there's nothing I can do here, so let's hope that we get maybe a couple more. Yeah, some lumber is good. That's nice. No, I'm not giving that up. This game is all about, you know, trying to adjust to the rarity of certain things. Like, you can't just put cities wherever you want, so you have to build over from wherever you initially started. And because of that, you know, you're going to have to... No. You're going to have to strategically decide, okay, well, at some point I'm going to need wheat, so I have to get over here to this 8. So you got to start building in that direction so that you can get over there. Oh, by the way, you cannot start on these islands. You must start on the main island and then work your way over with, you know, these crappy little boat things. Anyone? No. Oops, not that one. Anyone? No. How depressing. Now, actually, I can just use... Here, wait, use this. 2, give me that. Or do I want a capital? No, I want a city because I want to... Oh, I want to get this port over here. Right. Alright, so I built a city there. Can I get over here? Scroll. Alright, so I built this city here, and I have a city there. Because the city is here on this port, I now have access to the cheaper version of sheep. So if we go in here, and I open this up, you now see that this is 2 for 1 above the sheep. So that's why I did that. In the future, I will upgrade all 3 of these to be cities, and I want to try to float a boat over here. I'm going to pick up these 2, and maybe this one. We'll see what happens there. All right, well, I'm not going to make you sit through 20-plus minutes of Catan, so I'm going to cut us off here and just say that in terms of this game, if you love Catan, this game is for you. If you have played Catan before and you're looking for something that's kind of an upgrade, then this game is for you. If you're brand new to Catan, I would suggest that either you buy the board game or one of the other many versions out there. This game does a very bad job of kind of explaining the strategy or the rules, or, you know, like they do have the help thing, and that's nice, but, you know, there's better out there. There's better out there. So that's where I would leave it in terms of, you know. Now I'm actually going to play this game for a lot longer, probably for at least another 4, maybe 6 hours, and then I'll do like an official review. This is just kind of like a first impressions of what I think the game is like. Anyway, thanks for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please click the like button or subscribe to my YouTube channel for more content like this in the future. I'm Angelic Mayhem, and I will see you next time.